Today we are hanging out with Shaun Core from Vesselborn. Shaun, how are you doing today?
Good man, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Just hanging out in my void. I've got a bit of as you can see, a bit of a blue light ambience going in the background today. I like to
Mm.
switch it up a little bit between interviews to keep it fresh.
I'm in the stark light at the moment, but I'll I do have like some ambient light there. I probably can turn it off and go to the whole pink vibe. We'll see.
Yeah, up that mood rating. Now, yeah, the reason we're catching up today is because Vesselborn have just released a new single called Ghost Minutes. Could you tell us a little bit about the song and what inspired it?
Yeah, so Ghost Minutes is about the being conscious of the passage of time and how little we have in life, and sort of doing that mental struggle where like, oh, am I using my time correctly? Am I am I doing everything I can do to, yeah, forgive the poor term, live my best life? Um, so that's pretty much where it is, and just you taking account of the things I've done in the past, and yeah, things that you're not so proud of, and things that you are, and just going, okay, who exactly am I? Don't know yet. Still don't know. So it's just kind of like trying to figure that out. So yeah, that sums up Ghost Minutes. It's just like time's just slipping by.
Yeah, and I guess that's you know ubiquitous to us all, and how
Hmm.
we grow and develop as human beings. And at certain times of your life, yeah, you might feel that you've got it all figured out who you are and what your ideals are, and then things can happen in your life that flip it all on its head and cause you to sort of go on a different way, or maybe you just keep thundering down that same path interrupted. But again, it's many different paths that people can take through life.
Yeah, often I think you get to the point where you think you figured it all out, and it's actually, quite different. Or yeah, where you were, say, in your 20s versus where you are now. It can, things can shift pretty dramatically, as does the world. The world's got like going at a crazy pace, especially with everything's happening around the world. So it's just like hard to keep up sometimes, but. Um, yeah, at least we've got music to try to make sense of it and then take account for it.
Yeah, it puts us all in that sort of weird dichotomy where it's like it definitely pays to stay informed and be aware of all of these, as you said, crazy things that are going on around us. It's just like every other day, especially with a certain person being in charge of a world power, that there's some sensational headline that is, pretty much disbelief that someone or a group of people could do said things. And then the other
Mm.
side of just, yeah, wanting the distraction and being able to block all of that out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to completely block everything out, but you still want to create a safe space for your own sanity, um, where you can, you know, look into things introspectively, make your own decisions. Don't, because there is a lot of noise out there, and I think that's intentional, to keep people, you know, misinformed, or steer people either way to so they can be on their side or whatever. So it's important to, do take all that stuff in, but also form your own opinions and be objective.
No, definitely. And stay open minded and, yeah, speak to your friends, family, community, draw those
Yeah, absolutely.
opinions in, and then, yeah, try and wade through it as best you can and what's right with for you.
Yeah.
So Ghost Minutes is, yeah, the first release of a larger body of work, an album that
Hmm.
you guys are going to be putting out, Imposters Crown. And
Hmm.
I believe your strategy for this one is to just sequentially release things over time until the entire album has become
Yeah,
available.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, these days the traditional album drop's been sort of changed. The model's changed, especially with the advent of streaming. Um, the word waterfall release comes up quite a lot, where you just sort of drip feed that on. So we're sort of taking on some of that strategy, and we also wanted to create a bit of focus, which is with each and every song. often when you drop an album, some songs get lost in the mix and they don't really get to see the light of day as much as the other ones. And doing it this way, where we're periodically releasing every 6 weeks, every song will get its moment to shine. And we feel as though every song on this album is worthy to get that attention as well. As I don't think there's any sore thumbs. And yeah, so we put a lot of work into it. So yeah, quite proud of it, and hopefully people enjoy it, and gradually it'll build up some momentum and get more ears.
Is there any sort of overarching themes from or throughout the album, or because I'm thinking in terms of how you're going to be releasing these tracks, is it going to be sort of a sequential drop of basically how the tracks will be listed on the album, or are you sort of releasing from here and there, and then when the album's released, having them in that different order? So maybe when you do sit back and listen to the whole body of work, perhaps the songs take on some different aspects depending on what songs they're before, after, how the album begins, how the album ends.
Yeah, so when everything's out, there'll be a track listing that probably won't follow the drop list. So yeah, right now we're just sort of going, okay, well, we're confident in certain songs. We want those to be our first representations. Hence, what Ghost Minutes was. It was still had a song that had a fair bit of momentum, but also had it was a bit simpler compared to some of our previous like the previous EP that we put out, Salvage. So we wanted to put that out, and then we got I think the next song, which would be called Golden Noose, is a little bit catchier again, but and it's a bit different for us. So we're kind of pushing our limits here and seeing what sort of music we can create, and just wanted to, if you look at our first EP, Stateless, it was a bit of an older sound, and with Salvage that came out in 2023, we modernized a little bit, and now we're pushing that boundary yet again, just to try to play a bit of catch up and see where we sit within the landscape of music. So um, yeah, short answer, no, it's not going to follow. It's not going to follow through. We're just going to release a track every 6 weeks, and once the album's out, it'll have a different sort of order and be a different experience.
Yeah, wicked. No, I think that's a clever way to do it. I mean, perhaps if it was like a heavy concept album that had a very strong theme going through it, then perhaps releasing them in sequence may potentially be the way to do it. And I guess you don't want to give away the ending of the book before you've read the intro.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's a concept album, but it's in the territory of it, if that makes sense. There is some sort of, when you do a batch of songs, you feel a certain way, and there's a mood that carries throughout. Um, but I will say this: the current batch of songs is probably the most introspective that I've been, and the more raw and honest I've been, in terms of, like, when I write, usually it's a little bit more cryptic, and it's one of those artists that you can take anything from it. But in some of these choruses, I'm being very straight and to the point.
Mhm.
And hopefully, I won't go too far into each and every meaning, but yeah, when you hear those lyrics, they should be like, you could take it as they are. There's not much room for movement there.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, definitely try to get a little bit more like a stronger, honest expression out of it, as opposed to trying to be dress it up with flowery verbs and getting my thesaurus out and trying to see how wordy I can be. It was just like, okay, how do I feel in this moment? Okay, cool, let's get that down, that sort of thing.
I mean, just thinking of your resume, as it were, of the bands that you've been in over the years, because just quietly, we've known each other for multiple decades, since we were pretty much teenagers,
Yeah.
running around and playing in our first bands at gigs together. And yeah, that you've as a vocalist and a front man, um, yeah, just thinking about how many songs you would have written, not just the ones that I've heard from the bands that you're in, but no doubt all the thoughts and ideas that maybe haven't made it any further than your notebook, presuming that you have a notebook and actually write stuff down.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, it's interesting to hear as well how your songwriting process has also evolved over the years, and that you're still finding these ways to basically challenge yourself differently than you perhaps have in bands that you've been in before.
Yeah, it's definitely something I wanted to address because, like, well, what I was saying before, I did want to be that wordy kind of lyricist and come up with some cool schemes that could create an image. And now it's you're trying to strip that back, and that's the only place you can really go in terms of like, okay, where can I improve? Like I've over the years, I've focused on different elements to improve what I do, whether it be my melody writing or whether it be like how I approach a rhythmic scheme and that sort of stuff, or just generally getting better as a vocalist, like in terms of like getting my screams better, getting my singing better, pulling back on vibrato, my clean singing, adding more, doing falsetto sort of stuff. On some of this newer stuff, I'm doing things that I wouldn't necessarily do normally, like where it's more of a shouty kind of tone. There's, and it's really kind of raw and emotional sounding that you wouldn't necessarily hear from me. That sometimes I prefer more polished sounds. And on some of this other stuff, I'm going, okay, let's see where we can do just to see like what a raw exposed nerve sounds like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, so just kind of getting out of my comfort zone. Um, and some of my I don't normally do that. I try to focus on like one to sound as good as possible. And now it's like, okay, let's just see. I mean, there's lots of layers. There's heaps of production in the songs. Like you can hear it on Ghost Minutes, but we're just trying a lot of different stuff. And Andrew Bishop was a big part of that as well. Was helping me sort of like, okay, we want anthemic choruses. How do we do that? And just less focusing less on that perfect vocal line. We want it to sound as big as possible, or like, many people sing it, or we want that raw emotion.
Taking and looking at it from those different perspectives and honing in on what you really want out of the song, what's going to complement that part of it the best.
Hmm.
Now, along with this expanded range that you've been playing with, you're also active in another band at the moment called Buried in the Sun. And was it last year you put out the video for Unconscious Monsters?
No, it was earlier this year. So it was
Back into
in
2025?
April. Yeah, the song came out probably towards the end of the year. Like we had it out on streamers for a while. Then it was a little while before the clip came out, and then we just sort of try to do things at our own pace with that band. So it's just like, okay, how's the reaction to the song? It's good. Okay, let's just see what else we want to do with it. And I work with 1050 productions and just trying to help create some cool vibes and for clips and social media and all that sort of stuff. So we decided to do a clip for it. So yeah, having a lot of fun with that band.
Can you take us, a little bit through the creation of the Unconscious Monsters videos? Because there's some weird and wonderful things happening throughout that video.
we we wanted to create a feeling of um, untethered fun. Um, so it's very free and loose, and we want to get a little bit weird as well. So I think there's a bubbler scene where sort of getting some really weird eye contact with the bubbler and tongues out and stuff like that. And um, we just before the shoot day, we just went, okay, all right, everyone just bring one item from home that's completely unrelated to the the music or the concept of the clip or whatever it is, and just bringing it in, and we're just going to put it on there. So hence why you see like Spider-Man helmets and uh a sword and certain like a whole hand doing pitch harmonics and yeah, stuff like that. So we had a lot of fun, and we managed to get, being from Brisbane, we had to get the Story Bridge in there somehow. So we did that as well. So that was a good shoot location. It's near Howard Smith Wharves there. And yeah, big shout out to Daniel Keneally for helping us put all that together.
What is next for Buried in the Sun?
We just finished mixing on a track called Daylight, and we're planning to do another clip for that, and just going to keep carrying that kind of untethered, fun, cooked kind of atmosphere. So we've got some cool ideas going there. So um, the mix is back for Daylight, like I said, and we're pretty happy with that. And um, we'll probably be putting that out in the next couple of months. Once we get the clip all finished, we want to put it all out together as one package this time. So it'll be like song and clip all together in one big fun package. We also have so we've got another two songs that we've recorded, and we're waiting for mixes to come back on that as well. And we have another 8 songs written. And there's a bunch of songs that we had from. So Buried in the Sun was sort of made from the ashes from a band called The Loathing Sea. So there was a lot of songs that we put an album out during COVID, but it didn't really get, we didn't get a chance to play any shows except for maybe one. So the songs didn't really get to come out. So a lot of those songs we'll end up re-recording. The ones that the existing members wrote, and yeah, we'll probably package it all together in an album. Probably, I think it might be too ambitious to get that album by the end of the year out. It'll probably be mid 2026 that that's out, but we'll be drip feeding those other tracks that we've recorded and mixed, and those should be out by the end of the year. So the idea is just to keep putting music out and have fun with it. Yeah, just stoner, rock, grunge, whatever you want to call it. And these days, genres are kind of just bleeding together. But we've been told there's a lot of grunge in it, there's a lot of stoner, and then a bit of Alice in Chains. But like some songs probably don't sound like that much like Alice in Chains, and more like there's got some, I don't know, 80s shocky stuff in there. It's like, I don't, if you're familiar with Nick Stevens and the harmonics he does. It's kind of got that sort of Aussie Zach Wild sort of guitar tone sort of stuff going on.
Make it squeal.
Yeah, exactly. But mixed with Helmet and then Alice in Chains, it's a weird mix. And then we've got some My Bloody Valentine shoegaze sort of vibes in there, or psychedelic. So it's a really good mix of different stuff. And I guess we're not sort of I just named a bunch of influences, but not really trying to be anything. We're just doing what we want, and what we think sounds good. And so, yeah, hopefully people can resonate with it, and yeah, we get a good reaction. And so far, we have. We've got some really good responses to the stuff we put out. So, quite happy with that.
Awesome. And yeah, as you said, that material probably not going to uh, get too much of it until maybe next year. But then that's also because the focus now is on Vesselborn, no doubt, and
Yeah.
getting that album out and giving it its time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Have we got any live shows lined up for Vesselborn, or is that perhaps also going to wait until the whole album is available?
Yeah, I think we're waiting to see what the response will be as well. We want to make, you know, I think the big thing is like if we want to make sure we have a big demand for shows. So it all depends on like if you like our stuff, let us know. Come, um, you know, get on there, ask where we're going to play next, and hopefully, because it's with venues and stuff like that, especially around Brisbane, you really got to be able to pull the numbers and make sure that you're going to be putting on a big show. So we want to make sure we get a good groundswell around the material. We have faith in the material. I'm pretty happy with how the album turned out. So yeah, once everything's out and that if we're getting a good response, then yeah, there will be shows.
Certainly hope that just for the sake of the album, and the work that you've put into it, that you do get a good response for it. But then also
Mm.
selfishly, I hope people get on board and have a good response for it so I can come out and see you perform that material live. Shaun, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And yeah, hopefully we can well, and hopefully I just got to message you up, but we will stay in touch and we'll chat again maybe in a few months or something when more materials out perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Be more than happy to come out and have another chat and see what you think of the rest of the album. Then when once more tracks are out, because yeah, we want to know what people think. So
All right, amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to it, my friend.
thank you very much, Rash.